Joining us now, the Communication Director for the Republican National Committee, Sean Spicer's here, and the DNC Communications Director, Brad Woodhouse. Good to see you guys.
Hey, Shep.
So the fact checkers are out. What'd you think of that?
Well, look, you won't be surprised that I don't think they were right. I mean, first of all, the president has created 4.5 million private sector jobs in the last 29 months. Now, we don't go back to the beginning of the administration because guess what?
Mitt Romney said that we shouldn't go back to the beginning of his administration when we count his job losses. So we're talking about the 29 months after president's policies went into effect. We've created 4.5 million private sector jobs. We've created private sector jobs every month this year, for example. The last year of the Bush administration, 1 month in the entire year they created any jobs at all. So we're clearly better off than we were 4 years ago.
Sean, Republicans say that's a number that's sort of pulled out of the ether.
I think the only jobs that they're creating are those of fact checkers because it seemed they kept everyone in business last night. The facts are that last night we heard a lot of blame, a lot of attacks about Governor Romney, but not much about how they're going to put America back to work. No talk in 34 speakers about whether or not we are better off than 4 years ago. It's a lot of blame, a lot of attacks. They don't want to talk about the next 4 issues or the accomplishments because they're not there. The record of the last 4 years is not one to be proud of, and so I think that you're going to see a continuation tonight of a lot more blame, attack, excuses.
Yeah, I find that so interesting, Sean. The bite that Shep just played had Deval Patrick talking about bringing the automobile industry back. Mitt Romney said let Detroit go bankrupt. He talked about getting Osama bin Laden. You just said that we didn't talk about accomplishments. That was all Deval Patrick talked about, in addition to Mitt Romney's record. And guess what? It was all Michelle Obama talked about.
If you take 2 lines out of a 6-hour night, then you can probably find a couple nice things.
You said there was nothing. It was just played. That's
all right, well, you know,
it was just played on the air.
But the fact of the matter is that no one was talking about jobs. No one was talking about putting people back to work. No one was talking about are you better off. You guys hit $16 trillion.
One of the very first bites that was played was Julian Castro's bite about 4.5 million jobs. Right. So you're just
last night.
Why doesn't anybody talk about the wars?
Well, I mean, because right now, when you start a convention on the day that we hit $16 trillion of national debt that's going to saddle the next generation of Americans with that debt, then I think you have a pressing problem that you have to talk about. Americans are out of work. They need to get back to work. They're concerned about the next generation because it's not going to be better off than it is now if we continue down this path.
Sure, Shep. Let me talk about the debt real quick. You built that. That debt is on your watch. Paul Ryan, the guy that Mitt Romney picked.
There's a lot of debt over the last 3.5 years, with great respect.
Let me finish here. Paul Ryan voted for the 2 wars that were unpaid for, the prescription drug benefit was unpaid for, 2 tax cuts were unpaid for. 70% of today's deficit is a result of policies that Paul Ryan voted for.
Well, Paul Ryan is a really powerful man. If you're going to say one member of Congress is somehow equal to the President of the United States, that's amazing.
He didn't vote for those things.
Paul Ryan has put a budget out and passed a budget the last 3 years that achieves balance. This president hasn't gotten one vote for a budget. On your entire Democratic Senate and your Democratic House.
We have a budget too, and to make budget we have to get commercials in.
Thanks, Jeff.
I don't like them either, but we love our sponsors.
Thanks, Jeff.
Guys, have a good time. Enjoy yourself.
Right, take care.
Thank you. All right. They seem to actually like each other. I don't know. I mean, when the camera's not on, they actually seem to like each other. Page 10 is next.